Chapter 3, Demand Analysis. This is the third chapter of Microeconomics of class 12 economics textbook, and we will see now here, first of all, what is demand and what do you mean by the term analysis. What is demand? Demand means it comprises of three things basically. It means desire, right? It means ability, and it means willingness to pay. How they are made or how they are interconnected, I will let you know. What do you mean by the term demand? When you have the desire to buy something, right? When you want to buy something, when you wish to buy something, or when you desire to buy something, that is demand. But just wishing to have something will not fulfill your demand or will not suffice the definition of demand. First step is you have a desire to buy something. Next, you have the ability to buy. Ability to buy means you have the money or the resources to buy the particular commodity, that is fulfill your demand. When you have to fulfill your demand, you should have the desire to buy. Means it should be from inside that yes, you have to buy a particular commodity. Next, you should have the ability also. You should have the resources, the money, purchasing power, which will help you to buy the particular commodity or which will help you to satisfy your desire. Next thing, sometimes you have the money to buy but you don't have the willingness to pay. You say, okay, I want to buy it, that means you have a desire. I have money to buy it, you have the ability, but you don't want to buy it now. You say, okay, I'll postpone it, maybe buy something else other than this. So that is, if you want to buy, that means you have willingness to pay. You have willingness to pay for the commodity. So demand means you have the desire to buy a commodity. Along with the desire, you have the ability to pay, and then you have the willingness to pay for the commodity. So if you have all these three together, that is known as a demand. This is in the layman terms we are saying. Ability to pay for a commodity. You should have a desire. With the desire, you should have the ability to pay, and you should be also willing to pay. Yes, a voice will come from inside. Yes, you will pay. Then only you will be able to make up the demand. So this is how you will analyze the demand. Next is you have demand is related to price and time. How demand is related to price and time? If the demand of a particular product, you have the demand and you have the price, suppose, right? If you have the price as 10, suppose you take tomatoes, price as 10 rupees 10 per kg, then you have rupees 20 per kg, then it has gone to rupees 30 per kg. So price is increasing and the last you have rupees 25 per kg. See, it was 10, when the price was 10, the demand was, suppose you would have bought 2 kgs, right? When you have, suppose you have demand of rupees 10, you say you will buy 3 kgs of tomatoes. When the price increased to 20, you said, okay, 2 kgs will be sufficient. I will be able to manage in 2 kgs. It has gone to 30, you say, okay, you will have 500 grams is sufficient, right? Again it has fallen down, you said, okay, 1 kg is sufficient, I will buy. So as the prices are increasing. You see the prices, they are increasing, right? And here the price, what happens? It decreases. So it has the opposite relationship. As the prices are increasing, the demand is decreasing. So this is how you will have a relationship between price and the demand. Now what is the relation between demand and time? What it says, it is the concept is very much similar. It says it all depends on the time. What is the time period? You have a demand of a commodity for a particular time period. You have demand, suppose you want to buy something and you want to buy it today. For some products you cannot postpone your demand. If I want to have an ice cream now, I say I will have it right now. So that is how demand is related to time. Sometimes you say, okay, if I don't have the money, I will buy it tomorrow. So this is how demand and time are also interrelated. This is, you have the definition of demand first, or analysis, the short analysis you have done. This is the short interrelationship between demand, price and time. Next is you have types of demand. What do you mean by the term demand? As you've already studied, it is the ability to pay, because you have the desire for a particular commodity. After the ability, you should have the willingness also. Now what are the different types of demand? You have two types of demand basically. First you have the individual demand, second you have the market demand. What do you mean by the term individual demand and market demand? See, when you have, I'll explain with the help of an example. Mr. A is buying a particular commodity. See, Mr. A is buying sweets, right? So Mr. A is buying sweets. So this is an individual demand. This is of Mr. A, right? Then you have Mr. B is buying fruits, right? So this is Mr. B's individual demand for fruits. Now this is individual demand, means it refers to the demand of a commodity from an individual. This is demand of sweets by Mr. A, demand of fruits by Mr. B. This is an individual demand. It is the amount at which an individual consumer is willing. Now see, Mr. A has a desire to buy sweets, is able to pay also, and is willingly paying. So that is how his individual demand is created. Now his demand will be affected by the price of the sweets. If the sweets price is going up, then Mr. A will consume less of sweets. If the prices of sweets is going down, he will start consuming more of them. Similarly with the fruits also, as in the case of Mr. B. So this is the individual demand of sweets and fruits by Mr. A and Mr. B respectively. Now we will see what do you mean by market demand. It is when you have aggregate of individual demands, which means Mr. A's demand plus Mr. B's demand plus the end, whatever, right? So this is market demand, means when you add together, market demand is a total of individual demands for a particular commodity. It is the quantity of a commodity which all consumers are willing to buy at a given price and at a particular place, right? It is again influenced by what? Price. See, other things remaining constant. There are many other things which are affecting demand of a commodity. This is individual demand, that is market demand. Now you have, this is individual demands we are studying. Market demand, you will add up all the individual demands, that will give you a market demand for a particular product. If I am buying something or if I am producing something, I am not producing for a single demand. It will be many people's demand. Because of Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C and many people, for the sweets I am producing a particular commodity. So that makes up your market demand. So this is individual and market demand that we studied. Let's study the other demands also. This first other type is direct demand. Direct demand of a particular commodity is when you have, say, suppose you have for a commodity for a direct consumption. That this is representing direct demand for direct consumption. Direct consumption. What do you mean by direct consumption? Which means I want to buy a particular commodity for direct consumption. Consumption means if I want to buy a soap, Consumption doesn't mean eating, it means you are using it. You want to buy a bread, you want to buy something, some fruits, some sweets from the market. So that is known as a direct demand, that you don't want to use it for some other purpose. It will be directly meant for the consumption. So direct demand means direct consumption. So this is first type of other demand. Second type of demand is derived demand. What is derived demand? When the goods of a commodity depends upon the demand for goods produced by it. That is, suppose you have, very simple example, if the demand for a particular commodity increases, right? If they say it is a month of festivals and the demand for sweets is increasing, demand for sweets or mithai, what you call, is increasing. Now what will happen? Indirectly, the demand for the people who produce or who make or you prepare the sweets will also increase. The demand for the raw materials that is required for preparing sweets also increases. That is known as a derived demand. Derived demand means not direct demand of sweets, but indirectly the people who are preparing this, that is the labor who is preparing this, the demand for labor will also increase. The demand for raw material will also increase. Demand for raw material will also increase because the demand for sweets is increasing. So that is known as a derived demand, when directly the demand for labor and raw material is not increasing, it is increasing only when the demand of sweets increases. This is second type of demand, that is derived demand. Third type is joint demand. Recently we have been undergoing price hike in the petrols. The prices of petrols are increasing by 1 rupee, 1 rupee 50 paise, 2 rupees, 2 rupees 50 paise, 3 rupees every day. Every month in these past 12 months it has been increasing probably by 12 times. So joint demand means, see, as the prices of petrol are increasing, there is the lowering down of the consumption of cars. That is known as joint demand. When you see that the something increases, some price of a particular commodity increases, then definitely the you have two things working together. Suppose you have, example, you take it as car and petrol. Because without this car and petrol, or you can say some cars are also run by CNG, but basically petrols, if the prices of petrol are increasing, definitely the prices of the car will go down. So that is joint demand. If the petrol prices are coming down, that means there is more of demand, so people will buy more of cars, because the fuel that is running the cars has gone down, the prices of the fuel has gone down, so even more people can purchase the car now. So there is a joint demand for car and petrol. Next type of other demand is composite demand. Means there is a demand, there is a demand for, say, electricity. They have given a good example, electricity. Now what electricity is doing? With electricity what you do? It is used to heat, it is used for cooking, right? Many people, they use gas cylinders, gas geysers. So that is, and electricity is also used for heating up the water. You have gas geysers at home, or you have electric geysers at home. Electricity is also used for cooking. So your composite demand means demand for one commodity is satisfying for the various commodities. So you have electricity, with the help of one that is electricity units, what you do, you heat up, you cook, then watch TV, and there are many other things that are run at your place. Cooking means you use microwave ovens. Heating, you have the heaters at your home. You watch TV. So that is known as a composite demand. Next is competitive demand. Competitive demand means you have demand. You see, you have competitors or substitutes available. Best example they are given is tea and coffee. if you don't, sometimes when you go out, you want to have tea, it's not available, you say, okay, you will have coffee. So this is competitive demand. Demand for tea or prices of tea will definitely affect the demand of coffee, or prices of coffee will definitely affect the demand of tea. So these were the types of demand that we studied. Next topic that we will study is law of demand, which will guide you to help the producers that what to produce, when to produce, and how to produce, how much to produce, right? So that is law of demand. Please note down, law of demand states that relationship between price of a commodity and the quantity of that commodity, assuming other things to be constant. How you write this law of demand? Dx equals to function of Px. Dx equals to function of Px, which means demand of a commodity X, you can take it any commodity they have taken at as X, is equal to the function of the price of commodity X, which means that demand of a commodity will always be dependent on the price of the commodity. Demand of a commodity will always be dependent on the price of a commodity. How? See, according to Marshall is one of the very famous and renowned economists. He says, other things being equal, the quantity of a commodity demanded varies inversely with the price. As I have explained you earlier, how it says, if a price of a commodity is decreasing, demand increases. And next thing will be, if the price of a commodity is increasing, demand decreases. Next thing will be, if price is increasing, demand decreases. See, this means that demand and price have an inverse relationship. Inverse means opposite. That means if one thing is decreasing, other is increasing. Here price is increasing and demand is decreasing. This is known as the law of demand. The law of demand says that there is a relationship between the price and the demand, as the price of a commodity and the quantity are demanded, assuming other things remaining constant. See, other things remaining constant means when you have a demand of a commodity, it's not only the price that is affecting, there are many other factors. That is your taste and preferences, your income, many other factors that might be affecting the demand. It's not only the price. But the law of demand says that demand will only be affected by the price and all other factors will remain constant. They will not play a active role in the demand, in analyzing the demand of the commodity, right? So this is the underlying factor of the demand of the commodity, that no other factor will be playing an active role, other factors will remain passive. So demand of a commodity is inversely related with the price of the commodity. This is the law of demand, very important law. Next we will do is demand schedule. Price is 10 of a X commodity, it goes down to 8, goes further down to 6, then 4, then 2. They are just figures. I am telling you that how price and demand are related, and it will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5, 10, suppose 15, 20, 25. These are the fictitious figures I am using. These are not the real figures. See, price is going down from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2. When price is 10, demand is 5 units. When price is 10, demand is 5 units. When price is 8, that is price has decreased from 10 rupees 10 to rupees 8, the demand has increased to 10. Now people will say, okay, the price has gone down, we will buy more of the commodity. So price is going down from 10 to 8 and the demand increases from 5 to 10. Prices have further gone down from 8 to 6 rupees. Demand has increased from 10 to 15 units. So there is an increase of 5 units. The prices have gone down from 6 to 4. That is, it was rupees 6. Now it is rupees 4. So people are demanding more. Lastly, the price has gone down from rupees 4 to rupees 2. The demand is increasing from rupees 20 to rupees 25. This is known as the demand schedule. This is known as the demand schedule. That is, prices are increasing from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4. Prices are decreasing from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2, and the demand is increasing from 5 to 10 units, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, and 20 to 25 units. Next, what we will do is just convert this schedule into a diagram. Now, how the demand diagram is made? With the help of the demand schedule. What did the demand schedule say? You remember? The demand and the price. So we will make the same thing, the demand and the price. Here, this is OX axis and you have the OY axis. This is Y. This is X. On OX axis, you will have the demand of a commodity, and on the OY axis you will have the price. OX you will have the demand and OY you will have the price. What was the demand of a commodity? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and 30. Plot that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Alright, this is the demand. Next, what price you have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Alright. Now, when there is a demand of 5 units, when you say the price is 12, you have a demand of 0. You have no demand. When the price is 10, what is the demand of a commodity? 5 units. Put a mark here. When the price is 8, what is the demand of units? 10 units. When the price is 6, right? Price is going down and demand is increasing. It is 15. When it is 4, it is 20, and 25 it is, when the price is 2, it is 25. So demand curve will go like this. This is how the demand curve will go. This is, you have a demand curve which is going backwards. So when the price was rupees 10, the quantity demanded was 5 units. When it decreased to 8, it was how much? It was 10 units. You can see it was 10 units. I'll show you. When it was, when it was 10, it was 5 units. When the price had gone down to 8, the quantity demanded increased. When it was 6, it was 15. When it was 4, it was 20. When it was 2, it was 25. This is known as the demand curve. You have to label it D, D. Or you can say DD is the demand curve. Alright, DD is the demand curve, and you see when the prices are going down, the quantity is increasing from 5 to 10 and the prices are going down from 10 to 8. When the price has gone down to 6 to 4, it is increased from 15 to 25. So how the prices are going down but the demand of the commodity is increasing. This and this lastly. So DD is the demand curve. This is how you will plot the demand schedule. It is in kgs or whatever units you say. This is the demand diagram which you have made with the help of the demand schedule. So you can name it as, see, when you have the price of 10 CP1, you have the quantity as Q1, that is 5. When you have the price P2, how much is the demand of quantity? Q2. When you have the P3, how much is the quantity demanded? Q3. See, with 10 you have 5, so this is P1, Q1, P2 and Q2, P3 and Q3. Alright, this is how you will plot your demand schedule of the demand diagram. Next topic under law of demand is assumptions of the law of demand. See, assumptions means, assumption means you will assume something that this will happen. Okay, if this is there, something else will happen. Assumption is you are just keeping a probability. So you are just assuming things, right? So first is no change in taste, habits, etc. Right? No change in taste habits, which means it is assumed that consumers' taste habits are unchanged. Why they are keeping this assumption? We studied that there is a relationship between demand and price of the commodity. As the price increases, demand goes down, and as the price goes down, demand for a product increases. But there are certain other factors also which might help or which might affect the demand, like taste, habit, preferences of the consumers. They may also shift the demand or they may also increase or decrease the demand. But they say that no change, the taste and habits remain unchanged, they remain constant, they remain stable. Only the price plays a major role. So this is an assumption we are doing, right? Next assumption, no change in the income level. This means that if the income is increasing, see what happens when the income increases, definitely you will start purchasing the commodity, or there is a demand for, if my income increases, I will think to buy an AC for my place or a microwave or something better. I would go in for a 46-inch LED at my place. So my income, because my income has increased, but say no, income will remain constant. What will affect the demand? Only the price. So this is an assumption that income is unchanged. Next assumption is no introduction of any substitutes. No availability of substitutes means, suppose I say the price of a particular commodity goes down, so demand will increase, but there may be other products also. Suppose I am going in for a brand of a product, I am using some soap and the price has gone down. So I will start using the soap more. No, it may be I may start using some other soap also. Right? So they say no, there is no substitute. The only one thing that is affecting the demand is the price. So another assumption was availability. No availability of the substitutes. No anticipation of price change in future. Which means sometimes you anticipate that the prices of onions, suppose we say today you are getting onions for 12 rupees per kg. If you go to your person who is selling it, they will give you information, no, tomorrow it will be 16 rupees per kg, so you buy more today. So no anticipation. Assumption is there is no anticipation. Whatever will be the demand, whatever will be the price, the demand will go according to it. You will not anticipate anything in the future. Let it be rising in the future, but today's demand will only be affected by the price. Next is no change in the demographic factors you have. which means it is assumed that size and composition of the population will remain same. Demographic factors means this: what is the population, what is the size of the population, who all are there, what is the gender, are the people more males or more females. This is the demographic factor. Now that also assumption is made that also remains constant. Only see, sometimes what happens, the demand increases not because of price. Demand increases because the consumers have increased, right? The population of that particular area is increased. No, but they say no, that is only because of the price. Assumption is made there is no change in the demographic factors. Next is no change in the taxation policy. The government starts increasing the tax brackets, or the tax slabs, or the tax rates start increasing. So when you pay more of tax, you have less money to buy a certain commodity. So that is why the demand goes down. But they say no, there is nothing. The tax policy remains the same, only the price is affecting. So this is another assumption of the law of demand. Next assumption that you will study is no change in the technology. Sometimes the technology also affects the demand. If the technology is very upgraded, it can produce more of goods and supply at a lower price, right? So if there is a good technology, there will be better products, there will be fancier products, there will be good products, so the demand will increase. So they say no, the technology is fixed, there is no change, only the thing that is affecting demand is the price. So this is another assumption, that there is no change in the technology. Next, no change in the weather conditions. Weather conditions means sometimes you have a cold breeze blowing in the state of Maharashtra, which is very unlikely. So because of that, the woolen clothes, the demand is increased. They say no, the weather conditions are fixed, only price is affecting the demand. Last is normal goods. They do not buy inferior or superior goods. Sometimes you buy inferior goods or lesser quality goods, that will do. So the demand will increase because you are buying a little lesser quality, so the prices will be definitely down. So inferior goods means you will buy a less. Sometimes there is such a out of stock of goods that you have to buy certain quality of goods. You cannot compromise. So again, that will affect the law of demand, because the demand, you will say okay, you have to buy this particular product, this is not your brand, so you will buy less of it. That is normal goods. So they say no, there's nothing like that. You buy normal goods and price is affecting the demand. So all the assumptions you studied, there are many factors that are affecting the demand, but according to the law of demand, only one thing affects the demand, that is the price of that commodity. These all other factors remain constant, or they sit without any change. Next topic is you have demand schedules. I have just explained you the demand schedule. We will explain it in a different way now. It is individual demand with a diagram and market demand with a diagram. Basically, you know what does the word schedule means? This is individual schedule. What do you mean by the term schedule? Schedule means you are presenting something in a tabular form. Okay, you are showing something, some commodities, some quantities, the price, the two things, the relationships, interrelationships in a tabular form. That is known as a schedule. We are first of all doing the individual demand schedule, and you will see how that individual demand schedule affects and what is the market demand schedule that will affect. First is price of the commodity X and quantity. We will draw it and then we will show the price and the quantity of market schedules. So first is, this is price. Then you have the quantity. Alright. So we will just take it of individual demand schedule, maybe of one person. It varies from person to person. Individual demand schedule varies from person to person, but the relationship will remain the same. So as the prices are decreasing, the quantity is increasing. Again, you will show it is, suppose 10, 6, 5, 4. The quantity is increasing, but 5, 10, 12, 14. Alright. Now how you will draw the schedule? Just see. This is, you are putting the schedule or converting the schedule in a diagrammatic form. This is individual schedule and this is individual market demand curve. So this is O X axis, OY axis, this is demand, this is price. Alright, so price is 0, 4, 5, 6, 10. 4, 5, 6, 10. Then you have quantity as 5, 10, or you can say 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so it remains the same. 5, 10, 15, 20. So it becomes easy. So when the price is when the price is 7, the quantity is 5. Quantity demanded is 5. When it is 6, it is 10. When the price decreases to 5, the quantity increases from 10 to 15. When the price decreases from 5 to 4, the quantity increases to 20. So this is how. It is not necessary that you will make it with a scale. You can even make it with a pencil. D. This is the individual demand curve. Alright. This is the individual demand curve that you have made. This is the schedules. Prices are falling from 7 to 6, 6 to 5, 5 to 4. Quantity is increasing from 5 to 10, 10 to 12 and 12 to 14. Prices are decreasing from 7 to 6, 6 to 5, 5 to 4. The quantity is increasing from 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and 15 to 20. Let's move on to the market demand schedule. This was the individual schedule, that is of a single person, how he will react with the change in prices, what he will demand the quantity. Now we will make the market demand schedule. Market demand schedule, you have the price of X, alright. Then you have the quantity demanded, you have the prices, you have the quantity demanded and market demand. Prices are decreasing from 10 to 8 to 6 to 4 to 2. This is how prices are going down. Now you will see how different consumers are reacting to the price change. We have Mr. A, we have Mr. B, and we have Mr. C who will react to it. Alright. Prices, quantity demanded and the market demand. When the prices are falling down from 10 to 8, 8 to 6, 6 to 4, 4 to 2, Mr. A demands the quantity in the following ways. First it is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So with the decrease in the quantity, price of the quantity demand increasing. Now we will see how Mr. B will react to this. This will be 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is just an assumption, right? This is just, we are just giving you the figures just to make you understand the concept. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. This is how you do it, right? Now what is the market demand? Market demand means 5 plus 10, 15, 15 and 15, 30. So market demand is made up of the individual demands. Alright. Then you have 10 and 15. So at the price of 10, the individual demand is 5, 10 and 15. But at the price of 10, market demand is 30. So this is 10 and 15, 25. 25 and 20 will give you 45. 15 and 20, 35. 35 and 55 will give you 60. 20 and 25, 45. 45 and 30 will give you 75. 25 and 30 will give you 55. 55 and 35 will give you 90. Now I will explain you. At the price of 10, individual demand is 5 or 10 or 15, whatever you can say. But at the price of 10, market demand is 30. At the price of 8, market demand is 45, whereas the individual demands are 10, 15 and 20. At the price of 6, market demand is 60. At the price of 4, market demand is 75. At the price of 2, market demand has increased to 90 units. So you have the individual demand schedule is when you study Mr. A and prices. Individual is when you study Mr. B and prices, no other thing. Individual means when it is only prices and Mr. C. That is the individual demand curve. But when you study the three together and calculate the aggregate, that is price and the aggregate of all the individuals, you will get the market demand schedule. That is, you are putting the relationship of quantity demanded and the price of individuals and their aggregates. You are showing the relationship. This is the market demand schedule. Let's make the diagram for the market demand schedule. Now whatever will be the diagram, you will not include the individuals. It will be prices 10, 8, 6, 4, 2 and you will have the demand as 30, 45, 60, 75 and 90. This is OX axis. This is OY axis. You will write price and this is demand. You will write the units and here the units will be rupees. Okay, you suppose it might be rated this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and the demand, that is, you will take the figures only that you calculated: 30, 45, 60, 75 and 90. Take whatever is near to that: 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So first it is how much? 30. At the price of 10, demand, that is market demand, is how much? 30 units. Alright. At the price of 8, it has increased to 45. At the price of 6, it is 60. Then 75 and then 90. So this is how you will get the market demand curve. Alright, so this is how the prices are decreasing from 10 to 8, right? They have decreased from 8 to 6, 6 to 4, 4 to 2. But the quantity has always increased. So you will always have a downward sloping demand curve. It started from 10, it's going down to 8, 6, 4 and 2. This is DD curve. Please label it, and this is, instead of showing an arrow, you write TD equals to market demand curve. DD is the market demand curve. So it is always the addition or the you will add all the items, all the individual items, and you will get the market demand curve. Market demand curve means addition of all the individual items. So you have studied today individual demand, market demand, individual schedules, market schedules, individual curves, that is individual demand diagrams and market demand diagrams. Then second thing was types of demands you studied, the law of demand, assumptions of the law of demand. Next topic that we will do under law of demand is exceptions to the law of demand. What do you mean by exceptions? Means there is some rule. Suppose they say only this this movie is for the adults, this movie is for the kids. Means there are certain assumptions. There could be some other people also who can watch it. So exceptions you can say this box. Suppose they say in the city of Mumbai, you have this particular train coach only for the handicapped people, but they have another people, some other people who are not included in the handicap, even they can come with a special permission. So those are known as the exceptions. First exception to the law of demand is given goods. Given goods, or you also call them as inferior goods, right? How this you will explain this? This is known as Giffen's paradox, or you can say the law of demand does not apply to inferior goods, which means that when you are buying a product, you say when the prices are increasing, the demand falls. When the prices are decreasing, the demand increases. So, but it does not happen in the case of inferior goods. When the price of inferior goods decreases, the demand will not increase, because as it is their inferior goods, hence more the price will decrease, the people will start buying some other goods. Or you can say in another way, if you have goods, normal goods, the prices are decreasing, you will buy the normal goods, alright, but you will not be able to buy the inferior goods, as inferior goods are those goods whose demand does not rise even if the prices falls. So demand decreases when the price of such goods falls. When the prices are falling, you will say why you will demand this particular commodity, as it is their inferior in quality. So demand will not increase with the fall in the prices. So this is one exception to the law of demand. Next is prestige goods. Prestigious goods means you are buying a diamond necklace. That's a prestigious, that is a status symbol. So even if the prices are increasing, the demand doesn't fall down, it remains stable. The people who have to buy it will buy it because they have the money, that much of power to buy it. So even if the prices are more, their demands will also be more. So there is no law of demand operating for the prestige goods. Next is anticipation of change in price. Suppose a price of a commodity is rupees 10. You have bought 5 kg. Tomorrow they say it will increase to 16. So today what you will buy? You will buy 12. You will buy 2 kg extra. So anticipate, if you know that the prices will fall in future, you will demand less of a commodity today. Remember, when you know today it is 10 rupees kg and tomorrow it will be 8, so you will buy less of that commodity today because you know that tomorrow it will be falling more, so you can buy it tomorrow. So law of demand does not apply for when you anticipate prices. Next is changes in fashion. Change in fashion means you will, even if the prices of a particular dress is falling today, you will not buy it. The demand will not increase because you know it has become unfashionable, or it is no more in fashion, so you will buy it tomorrow when a new fashionable or new updated dress is available in the market. So fashion also, the law of demand does not operate, because even the prices are decreasing, the demand will not increase because that particular commodity is not in fashion today. Next is promotional activities. Today you buy it at a higher price from us. They have such convincing way to make you buy the product. They will convince you and you will be tempted to buy the product, because that is the promotional activity done by them. They say you buy 2 kgs more, see, we will give you a gift voucher for it. So that is a promotional activity. For that, even if the prices are more, you will buy more of it. So law of demand does not operate in those promotional activities. Next is you have changes in quality. If I am making a good quality product, right? So what I will do, if I improve the quality, if I improve the packaging, if I improve in some way or add or enhance the quality of the product, even the prices are higher, people are ready to buy more of it. So again the demand curve and the price is going out of the way. Prices are always increasing, the demand is also increasing. So law of demand does not work in changes in quality condition also. Last is demonstration effect. Demonstration effect means is different from, in demonstration effect people behave entirely different from other members in such a way that they must be specially noticed. Sometimes you buy something very costly, even if the prices are rise, you're buying more of it just to demonstrate or show yourself that you are something different in the society, just to outshine your status or your image in the society, or just to have the demonstration effect given to your status. You are demonstrating or showing off and buying the products more, even the prices are more. So law of demand does not affect or implement or imply in the demonstration effect. These are certain exceptions to the law of demand. The given goods or the inferior goods, it will not work. Prestige, anticipation for the change in prices, change in fashion, promotional activities, change in quality, and lastly for the demonstration effect, law of demand will not work for certain conditions. There may be other conditions, but these are mainly what we have under study. Next point to be discussed under the chapter 3 demand analysis is factors of demand. We will study the factors of demand, but before the study of the factors, I would like to tell you that the factors of demand have been bifurcated, or they have been divided into two parts, that is the individual demand and the market demand. So you will study factors of the individual demand, that is factors or determinants of the individual demand. So what are the factors that affect the individual demand? We will study that first. First is there are various factors that determine the individual demand for a commodity. First is price. First is the price that is affecting the demand. That is, you have to see that if the product, you have to increase the demand of the product, or you want that there should be more demand for your product in the market, then you have to lower down the prices of your product. So price is one of the important factor that plays. We are just doing the individual demand first. Alright, so price plays an important role or a major role in determining the demand. That is the individual demand. First factor is price. Second is price or substitutes. Substitutes are the goods that are available in the market that can be used instead of your product. Okay, substitutes are the products that are available in the market when the buyer or the consumer of the product, of your product, it is not willing to purchase your product for any of the reasons, then they can go in for the substitutes, that is the other product that is available. If I am purchasing a product, if I am consuming a brand of cold drink, and if that is not available or if I am not finding it suitable, definitely I can shift on to the other brand. So there are always substitutes that are available for a particular product. So the demand is also affected by the substitutes. If you are finding the substitutes are available at a cheaper rate, or the price of the substitutes are lower than what you are consuming, then the demand for your product will definitely go down. Next factor that is affecting the individual demand is price of the complementary goods. If you buy a pen that requires ink, if you buy a ink pen, you will definitely require ink with it. So complementary goods means a pen and ink. So if the demand of the or you can say if the price of the pen falls, the demand for ink will increase. You will study that if the price of the gel pen, or you can say ink pen, falls, then demand for the ink increases. Right, so your prices also affect the, or the complementary goods also affect the demand of the individual products or the individual units. Next factor that is affecting the individual demand is utility. Utility is something that is useful for you. Utility means a value that is being created in a product and that is useful for you. If you buy a product and you just buy and it is not giving you or serving any purpose for you, then it does not carry any utility factor. But if the same product is serving you in one way or the other, definitely that product has the utility factor for you. You are utilizing it and it is giving you some kind of the value to you. If I am using a product, suppose I say I am consuming non-vegetarian food, right? So that is adding utility for me. If I am a vegetarian, even if there is a lot of non-vegetarian dishes available in a hotel or anywhere outside, that is of no concern to me, that is of no utility to me, because I am not a consumer of a non-vegetarian product. So because of the utility of the product, the demand of the product is affected, that is the individual demand of the product is affected. Another factor that is affecting the individual demand is disposable income. Disposable income means, so see, I am earning 20,000 in a month, suppose. From that 20,000 I have paid all the taxes and I am remaining with 14,000. Now that 14,000 I am going to put or consume or I am going to expend it on myself. So that is known as disposable income. The income that is ready for you or you have made ready for yourself to dispose or to expend or to consume for yourself is the disposable income. Individual demand is also affected by disposable income. Disposable income means if your income is more, definitely you will demand more for the product. But if your disposable income, you have paid lots of taxes and you remain with nothing, so you will demand less of a product. Another factor that is important or another factor that is of concern to you is taste and preferences. Individual demand is affected by the taste and preferences. If the individual wishes to buy a particular brand of a product and that is not available in the market or he does not like it, the demand will decrease. So taste and preferences is also a factor that is affecting the demand for a product. If you have a preference for a particular product, definitely the demand for that particular product will also increase. But if you don't like or you don't prefer a particular brand or brand A, brand B, then the demand for that particular brand will decrease. Next factor that affects that individual demand is quality of the commodity. See, what do you mean by the quality? Quality is the type of a product that is available in the market. If the quality of the product is up to your mark means as you wish the quality is like that, then what you will do, you will buy more of a product or the demand for the product will increase if the quality of the product is as per your expectation or as per your standard. But if the quality of the product is not as per your standard and wills and fancies, then the demand for that particular product will go down. Next factor that is affecting the individual demand is intensity of the want. How much the want or how much your want or how much the desire to buy a product is intensified. If you need a product or you want to buy a commodity on an emergency basis, then the demand for that product will be high. Right? So individual demand is also affected by the intensity of the want means if you cannot postpone. If I am feeling hungry and I want to consume something or I want to buy something, that means the intensity of the want is high. I can pay any amount and the demand for that particular product will increase. I mean, I will not postpone the demand for that product. I want it at an emergent cost or I want it now, today. So intensity of the want is very important factor in the individual demand. Next is future price expectation. Future price expectation, if you know today that the prices of a particular, suppose we take onions. If we know today that onions we are getting at 14 rupees per kg and tomorrow the onions will be rupees 12 per kg. So the demand of the onions will go down today because you know that they will be available tomorrow at a lesser price. So future price expectation means if you know what will be the price or what is the anticipated price of a product tomorrow, then you will accordingly arrange or accordingly you can form your demand. As I've said earlier, if you know that the price of a particular product will go down tomorrow, you will postpone the demand or you will decrease the demand for that product. But if you know if the prices will go up tomorrow, then you will consume more today or you will demand for that product more today. Next factor that is affecting the individual demand is the promotion of the product. Promotion of the product is if there is good promotion of the product, if there is good advertising, good salesmanship, definitely it will affect the demand or the individual demand. If the promotion of the product is done well, if the salesmanship is done well, if the good is properly advertised, then it will leave a deep impact on the individual demand. It will increase the individual demand if the promotion is done on the satisfactory basis. But if the goods are not promoted or the services are not promoted on the very exemplary basis, then the individual demand will definitely suffer. So these were the factors or the determinants of the individual demand. Now we will study the factors of demand, that is of the market demand. Earlier we did the factors that were affecting the individual demand. Now what do you mean by market demand? As we discussed earlier, market demand is the aggregate or totaling up of the individual demand. When the individual demands are added together they form up the market demand. So what are the factors that are affecting the market demand? First is size of the population. Size of the population affects the market demand in the sense that if the size of the population is large, that is if the locality has more people, then definitely the demand or the market demand for the product will increase. So larger the size of the population, higher the demand expected. Lower the size of the population, then definitely the goods demanded will be low, because there are less people and the demand for the who will demand? The people will demand, and there are less people, so the demand will be low. Next factor that is affecting the market demand is distribution of income and wealth. If the income and wealth are equitably distributable, if you take an area and if there are only few rich people and very less poor people or very less middle income group people, then the goods that will be demanded will be just luxurious goods. So demand will not be equitable because the income distribution is not equitable. So if you want the demand for the goods, that is in luxurious goods, the necessity goods and all the goods, the demand for the goods will depend highly on the distribution of income and wealth. If the income and wealth are equitably distributable or equitably distributed in the economy, the demand of the product will be as per the distribution. Next factor that is affecting the market demand is standard of living. If the standard of living is high, if the people in a locality or the locality is very posh, then the people of that particular locality will demand luxurious goods, very goods of comforts. Right? If the standard of living is less or the standard of living is low, the demand will be accordingly. Next factor that is affecting the market demand is level of taxation. If the people are earning, suppose 50,000, right, and this 50,000 they are paying 12,000 in the form of taxes, right? So what is the money remaining with them? They are remain with 38,000 rupees to be spent. So this is known as the disposable income. Now this disposable income will be spent by the people according to their wish. So but if the level of taxes increases, suppose from 12,000 it goes up to 25,000, that is almost the half. So what will be the income that is remain with the person? Just 25,000. So as the level of taxes are increasing from 12 to 25, the disposable income falls from 38 to 25, and when the income falls, the market demand of the goods will also fall. Next factor is social customs and festivals. If you have seen, there are lots of festivals and customs followed in the country where we are living, so there is high demand for the goods. If you see the Diwali time, you have lots of festivities, celebrations taking place, so there is a demand for clothes, there is a demand for sweets. You take the Christmas period, so there are many customs and festivals that are celebrated in India, and henceforth the demand also increases as per the requirements. Next is again the promotional activities. If the promotional activities are taken or undertaken by the seller, it will not only affect the individual demand, but it will also affect the market demand in toto. So if promotional activities are done on very energetic, on very high level, and on a very good basis, or there are increase in the promotional activities done by the producer, the market demand, not only the individual demand but also the market demand of the product will also increase. So all depends on the promotional activities. If good advertising structure is made, good salesmanship is shown, then market demand will increase. So size of population, distribution of wealth and income, standard of living, level of taxation, social customs and festivals, and promotion activities, these are all determinants or factors of the market demand. Next topic is variation in demand. Variation is changes in demand or refers to the quantity demanded due to change in price alone, other factors remaining constant. So variation in demand means demand changes due to change in price alone, other factors remaining constant. Demand is changing only because of price and other things are constant. So in variation of demand, we will study two things, that are expansion of demand and contraction of demand. Let us study expansion of demand first. It is also called extension of demand. Expansion of demand takes place when quantity demanded is more due to fall in price alone, other factors remaining constant. Expansion of demand takes place when quantity demanded is more due to fall in price alone. The demand moves downwards and contraction is less due to price alone. See, when you have, I'll explain you with the help of a diagram. This is OY axis, this is OX axis. Here you will have demand, or you can say you will have quantity. Here you will study price. Okay. Now you see, at OP price, the quantity demanded is OD or OQ, whatever, right? At OP price, the quantity demanded is OD. Alright. Now see, we are studying expansion of demand. Expansion means extension of demand, right? If the price falls from OP to OP1, see, the price has fallen from OP to P1, the demand will increase from D to D1. Alright. When prices are falling, price was, suppose this, the price was 6 here, now the price has fallen to 4. So from 6 to 4, the demand of the quantity has increased from 50 to 60 kg or 50 to 60 units. So expansion of demand means extension of demand, right? And what does this extension means? That demand increases. Demand is increasing. Demand is increasing from OD to OD1. Alright? From OD to OD1. And what is happening? The prices, because why? Because of price fall. From OP to OP1. Okay, so extension of demand means, expansion of demand means extension of demand, where demand increases due to price fall. That is, OD is the initial demand and OP is the initial price. Now the price has changed from OP to OP1 and the demand has increased from OD to OD1. This is known as expansion of demand, where the price is affecting the demand, that is, only the price is affecting the demand, no other factor is affecting the demand other than the price. This is known as extension of demand. Next is, we will study contraction of demand. Again, with the help of a diagram, the explanation becomes easy. This is OX axis, where you will have the demand or the quantity demanded, and this is OY axis, where you will have the price of that quantity. Now you will have the demand curve. This is DD is the demand curve. Now the initial price is OP. Suppose this is rupees 6. This is D. This is suppose 50 units. Okay. So the initial price is OP, that is rupees 6, and at OP price 6, OD, that is 50 kg, is demanded. Now contraction means we will move along the same demand curve, that is, price is increasing from OP to OP1, that is rupees 8. so it is increased. Now what you will see, there is a decrease in demand. From 50, the demand is B1, that is 40 units. It is shifting towards the left. So contraction of demand, it means the demand decreases from OD to OD1 due to price rise from OP to OP1. Alright, from OP to OP1 it is increasing and demand is falling due to what? Increase in price. From OP earlier at 6 rupees 650 units were available, but now the price is increased to 8, so only 40 units are available at price 8. So prices have increased from P to P1, but your demand has decreased from OD to OD1. This is known as contraction of demand. Extension and contraction of demand means, extension or expansion of demand means when the goods are demanded more because of the fall in prices, and contraction of demand means when the demand decreases due to price rise, and you are moving along the same demand curve. See, the demand curve is, I have drawn only one demand curve and we are moving on the same demand curve, that is price is rising here and the demand here. So there is no shift in the demand curve, there is only one demand curve, that is DD. So this is variation in demand we have studied. We have studied two things, extension or expansion of demand, and second was contraction of demand. Next thing that we will study is changes in demand. Changes in demand. Now we studied variations in demand, that is demand is changing only because of the price. Now we will study changes in demand, that is demand is increasing or decreasing due to the factors other than the price. Okay, so there is a change in demand due to factors other than the price. You will study first of all increase in demand. Increase in demand, and second thing will be decrease in demand, and this will be due to factors, that is demand is either increases or it decreases due to factors other than price. Variation, what did we study? This is again the opposite of variation. Variation we studied that the demand is increasing or decreasing, or there is an extension or contraction of demand due to change in the prices. But when we study changes in demand, that is increase and decrease, this is extension was due to price, contraction was due to price, but increase and decrease in demand is due to the factors other than the price, that is demand is changing. Demand was changing there also, but it was due to price. Demand is changing here also, that is it is either increasing or decreasing, and that is because of the factors other than the price. Other than the price are prices of the substitutes, taste and preferences, income. These are supposed to be the other factors. Now first we will study increase in demand. See, increase in demand is due to the factors other than the price. The demand is increasing. Okay, the price may remain the same, but the demand is increasing. Now what we study is, and what we study in decrease in demand, the demand is decreasing but due to factors other than the price. So it is, first we will study demand is said to have increased when it is at the same price more quantity is demanded, and at a higher price the same quantity is demanded. Let us study with the help of a diagram. Alright, OX axis you have the demand of the quantity, and next you have the price maybe and the other factors. Alright, so you have increase in the demand. Increase in the demand means this is the demand curve, right? This is the price. Prices are remaining stable, as I told you. The demand is increasing. So when demand increases, it will shift this side. If it decreases, it will come towards the left. If it is increasing, it will go towards the right. So demand is increasing. As I told you, it was along the same demand curve. The variation was along the same demand curve, but the changes means that the demand curve has shifted towards the right. See, the prices have remained the same. The demand has changed. So at P, earlier we were getting this quantity, Q, right? But at the same price, now what we are getting? We are getting Q1. Did you get it? At OP price, OP is the price. How much we were getting? We were getting OQ. OQ was the demand of the product. But now at OP price, how much you are getting at the same price? You are getting OQ1 is the demand of the quantity. So this is known as increase in the demand. Increase in the demand. Let's see the new demand curve. You can see there is an increase in the demand, and you have other things being constant, that is price is remaining constant but the demand changes. What are the causes for the increase in demand? Increase in demand takes place because of the following causes. Rise in the level of income. See, what are the other factors? Other factors could be the level of income, right? Even the prices remain the same. My income has increased, so my demand has increased whatsoever. This is D1 you can say. Alright, so whatever the income, whatever the price is, if my income, the level of income is increased, the demand is increased. Next, it could be size of the population. If the size of the population has increased, whatever the price would be, there is an increase in the demand for the product. Next is changes in the habits and taste. I have started to develop a liking for a particular product, so that means the demand for the particular product has gone up. Then increase in the promotional activities, then positive changes in the fashion, and increase in the prices of the substitutes. These are the causes for the increase in demand. How you will study the causes in the increase for demand? You have the factors of other than the price. Other than the prices, level of income, as I told you, then habits and preferences, then you have the prices of the substitutes, then size of the population, and you have the promotional activities. Next thing that we will study is decrease in demand. Now it is just the opposite of increase in demand. It is said to have decreased. Demand is said to have decreased. At the same price, less quantity is purchased. Alright, same price, less quantity is purchased. Again, that will be explained with the help of a diagram. This is OY, which will have factors other than the price. This is OX, which you will have the demand for the quantity. Alright, now you will have the demand curve, that is DD, and you have the price and the quantity demanded. This is OP and this is OQ. So at the OP price, OQ demand, the goods demanded is OQ. Alright, now what happened? Prices are remaining stable, the demand is decreasing. How? I told you, when the demand decreases, the curve shifts towards left. So demand has decreased. Alright, now what will happen? Where you have decreased the demand for a product, now this will be, the price curve is intersecting here. This is D1, this is Q1. So at the same price, that is OP, the goods that are, there is a decrease in demand from OQ to OQ1. So demand decreases from OQ to OQ1 due to factors other than price, and you can see the price remain constant. So there is a change in the demand due to factors other than the price. So the demand has shifted from DD to D1 and the price is remain the same, that is OP. The quantity that is demanded has fallen from OQ to OQ1. This is known as decrease in the demand. Now what are the factors that are affecting the decrease in the demand for a commodity? It could be fall in the level of income of the consumers. If the income falls, definitely if the income is falling, the demand for goods will also fall. No matter what the price is, but income will definitely affect the price. Next is decrease in the size of population. Even if you lower down the price, but there are no people to purchase, so size of the population also matters. Next is changes in taste, preferences and habits. If I have stopped using the good, even if the producer has decreased the price, but I don't have a preference for that particular good, then there is no use of change in the prices. It will be preferences that will be affecting it. Reduction in the production activities, then commodities becoming out of fashion, then fall in the price of the substitute products. These are some of the reasons as to why there is a decrease in the demand. The demand is decreasing not because of the price, but because of the other factors other than the price. Next is variation in demand and changes in the demand. First we will discuss the meaning factors. What is variation in demand? Variation in demand means it is your demand is changing, because that variation means either the demand, there is an extension or expansion, that is known as, or the contraction. So there is either extension or contraction of demand due to price. But when you study the changes in demand, it is other than price, that is demand increases or decreases other than price. But here the demand is increasing and decreasing just because of the price. Second is distinction is types. So types are, you study types, you have already studied extension and contraction, and here under types you have studied, this is meaning we have cleared out, and types we have studied increase and decrease. Alright, next is movement. Movement means, as we did the graph, we saw this is the demand curve and this is the price at which the quantity is demanded, that is O. At OP, OQ quantity is demanded. Now what we did, that we studied that the demand curve, that is DD, there is a movement along the same demand curve, that is the prices are falling from OP to OP1, so the quantity demanded is increasing. So there is a fall and rise in the prices. Alright, but if we study the movement under changes in demand, we study that this is a demand curve, this is O, and we have this, these are the other factors. Alright, so there is no change in this factor. Suppose this is any factor, you take it income, we represent Y as income, or taste and preferences, or price. Basically here you have the price. Price is stable. Alright, what happens? The demand is increasing, that is if it is shifting towards the right it is increasing, or the demand is decreasing, that is if it is shifting towards the left. So accordingly the quantity is increasing or decreasing, right? So this is movement, means it is under variation in demand, the movement is along the same demand curve. But under changes in demand, the demand curve changes to right if the demand increases, and it changes or it shifts to left if the demand is decreasing. This is the difference between variation in demand and changes in demand. Next is extension in demand and contraction in demand. Extension in demand and contraction of demand. as we have studied earlier, is how the demand is increasing and decreasing. See, meaning, and you say again the quantity is falling. We will study here only. Extension means the quantity is increasing due to the fall in price, and contraction means that the quantity is falling due to the fall in the price. So quantity is increasing because of the fall in the prices, and you have the increase and the decrease under this. Another differences that are often asked in the exams is extension. You have, suppose you have variations in demand and changes in demand, the differences are asked. If you take it on the internal basis, they can also ask differences between external and increase in demand and contraction and decrease in demand. Extension of demand means that the demand is increasing due to the fall in the prices, and here the demand is increasing due to the factors other than the price, that is income is increasing, or the fashion has been increased, or there is any other factor that causes the increase in demand. Next could be contraction of demand and decrease in demand. Contraction of demand means that the demand is decreasing due to the rise in the prices, but decrease in demand means that the demand is decreasing not due to the rise in the prices, but maybe due to the lowering of the income level or increase in the taxes or any other factors. So this is because of the price, this is not because of the price but of the other factors. Next, the differences that could be asked is, you have individual demand and market demand. What do you mean by the individual demand? It refers to the quantity that is demanded by the individual at different prices. Mr. A is demanding the quantity, Mr. B is demanding the quantity, so the quantity is being demanded by individuals at different prices. That is known as an individual demand. But if we study the market demand, it refers to the total demand or the commodity demanded at different prices by all the consumers. This is at different prices. What is the individual demand, right? But if you study the market demand, it is at different prices. What is the market demand? There lies the difference. Second difference that we'll study is factors influencing. What are the factors that are influencing the individual demand and factors that are influencing the market demand? So factors that are influencing the individual demand are price, disposable income, taste, preferences. That is all that are individually connected. And market, it could be size of population, standard of living, and income disposable, or that is income that is in our hands, or the taxation policies that are available. So whatever factors are influencing the individual demand, you take the individual points into consideration. But while we study the market demand, it is on the whole, that is size of the population. Next is presentation. Presentation means individual demand can be presented with the help of individual demand schedule and individual demand curve, which we've already done in the chapter. You have individual demand schedule, that is, you represent the demand and the price in a tabular form, and individual demand curve. But if you study a market demand, you will have the market demand schedule. As we remember, to make the market demand, when we add up, how you make the market demand schedule? By adding up individual demands, and with the help of market demand schedule, you make market demand curve. Okay, so this is how you make up the market demand curve with the help of schedule. And how you make up the schedule? By adding up all the individual demands. Next, last is scope. Scope means it is a narrow in scope, and it is a part of market demand. It is a broader scope. Market demand is broad in scope. It is a broad concept. right? Whereas individual demand is a narrow concept and it is included in market demand. Whereas if you study the scope of it is broad and it includes individual demand. So this is how you study the individual and the market demand. Then many other things that you have in the chapter. For importantly that we have done is the demand, the factors affecting the demand, right? Then you have the different exceptions to the demand, variations in the demand and changes in the demand are very important points that are studied. Then we have the individual demand and the market demand studied with demand schedules and the different demand curves.